Hi, I'm Michael Roberto, Professor of Management at Bryant University and author of Unlocking Creativity. I've always been intrigued by the types of things that get in the way when people are trying to launch creative ideas. I've always been intrigued by the resistance to new ideas throughout history. Look back to the 1850s. Manet and his contemporaries were developing new ways of painting in France. They were challenging the paradigm of the traditionalists at the time. They were soundly rejected. They could not make their way into the great salon in Paris to display their art. Napoleon, so worried about social unrest by these young new artists, developed a salon of the rejects, allowing these folks who could not get in and be accepted by the traditionalists to display their paintings. But many of those paintings were mocked by citizens who went to the salon of the rejects. Of course, eventually, Manet and his contemporaries upended the paradigm in France and elsewhere, and a whole new movement took place. And others, such as the Impressionists, came forward and pioneered great new art as well. But it took some time. There was great resistance to new ideas. I think this kind of resistance still exists today in many companies who are dealing with people who have creative new ideas for new products and new services, but they can't get them off the ground. There are barriers in the way. In my book, I talk about the fact that creativity is not impeded because we have a lack of talent inside of organizations. It's not that we lack creative individuals. It's that we've put barriers in the way of the people already there in our own organizations. And those barriers aren't just bureaucracy. They're not just poor incentive systems or risk aversion on the part of senior management. There's mindsets that get in the way of creativity. Mindsets such as the benchmarking mindset, the constant obsession with who the leaders are in our industry and trying to emulate them, and therefore too many Me Too strategies and not enough innovation. Or the linear mindset that says the way we develop ideas is we analyze and research, then we plan, and then we execute. But creative ideas often move in fits and starts. There's a lot of iteration that has to take place. It's a nonlinear process. Or maybe it's the prediction mindset, the idea that any new idea must move the needle. It must generate a substantial amount of new revenue, or it's not really worth it. Yet what we're asking is, can you really predict how big that new idea will be? Far too many ideas may look like niche products or services, not worth investing for a large corporation, but in fact, they may just be a blockbuster. We're not nearly as good at predicting the future as we think we are. And lastly, there are far too many naysayer mindsets in organizations, where we have people always asking, why won't this work? Instead of asking, well, might this just work? And how could we make it work? How do we engage constructive contrarians in our organizations rather than those dysfunctional naysayers who get in the way and try to block every original idea put forth? We say we like creative people, but often we shun them. We're not exactly comfortable with nonconformists. As leaders, what we have to do is remove the barriers in the way of those creative, talented people already in our organization and tackle the mindsets that inhibit original ideas from flourishing. Hope you'll take a look. Unlocking Creativity examines those mindsets and gives you some strategies for how to overcome the typical barriers and obstacles that impede creative ideas in many organizations, far and wide, large and small. Thank you.